Hello everyone, my name is the Emerald, and today we're going to be talking about Castorice again. Yes, I know, I've already talked about this character a couple times, about twice even, on the initial reveal or leak, and the second time with our global talent. I have to bring this up again because we're approaching version 4 in about a day or so actually, and they still haven't fixed this character. So let's just get this out the way. This is the biggest thing that I honestly at this point now is just becoming a dream at this point, and honestly I don't think it's gonna happen. They still have not removed the global talent. The global talent is still here, as you can see. This is the version 3 changes. Thank you to DG Cat for all this stuff. As you can see, it hasn't changed one bit. It's still the exact same as before. It revives a character that gets killed, and then as long as they get healing or get a shield, it gets away and they'll come back immediately. They'll come back. Boom. I don't really get it. I still don't. This is a really horrible idea in general. And let me get something straight. People are saying like, oh, the effect sucks, why are you complaining about it? It's not the effect itself that's the problem. It's just the fact that they're doing it in general. Because this now sets the precedent that they could just do this again for future characters. We don't want this, okay? Having a character with a global passive that works in your box at all times is not healthy for the game. That now incentivizes more FOMO than it already did. And now it drives you like to get a character that you might not want, but you might need because it has a really strong effect. Like for example, what if instead of this kind of revive, it gave like damage bonus or skill points or free shield, something actually worth like investing into and like actually good for team compositions that if you don't have, you are just shooting yourself in the foot for, right? Now, if this is a one-time thing, sure, whatever. I still think it's a horrible idea, but okay, at least they only did it once. But honestly, I don't think it is a one-time thing. I know in Hoyoverse, this would happen multiple times. The fact that they haven't gotten rid of it tells me that they might try doing this again. It's a really horrible look. It's not good for the game to have these global passes, global talents, and I'm praying they get rid of it in the next version or two, but at this point, I honestly am losing all faith in them removing it. They had technically three versions to do it. Version 1, where they first on going, oops, version 2, and version 3, and they haven't done it all. So, what are we doing? Right? That's the main point of the video, but I just want to put that out there. This is still here, and I still absolutely despise it. So, this is me talking about, we actually got a review from a tester, Watson Leaks. Watson Leaks here puts out reviews for version characters, if necessary. There is not one for Anaxa because according to them, it's the same as version 1 and they can't play it, and LMAO. Not in the bad sense, just like I think in the literal sense they cannot play it, I don't know. But yeah, there's no review on Anaxa, so we'll come back to that. However, version 3, so we'll quickly like just skim over this because a lot of this was just word changes, but all you need to know is her damage is lowered, like significantly lower than it was in version 2, and the payoff for the payoff for losing all this damage, she loses damage like up there. I showed you some here. She loses some, I think, down here, I believe. If I scroll down a little bit, she loses some somewhere else. I'm trying to find it. It is, I think, in her Alons, right? Yes, this got lowered. That's the same, and like this barely changes, and honestly, yeah, like her damage is significantly lowered. It's pretty significant. Like 30% to 20, from 30% to 24% is a pretty big jump, right? Like, I guess big leap backwards, right? And then 30, 34, 38, 24, 28, 34. I don't know what we're doing, but okay. So, I'll read this to you. If you don't care for this, then I would say just try to skip, or like honestly click off this video, because I will be going over this review and giving my thoughts on the character. So my personal assessment of this change is that it was a brainless decision. We have previously discussed the issues of version 1 Castorice 4, overly difficult DPS cycle, disastrous autoplay, and extremely limited selection of viable healing and support characters. Alright, right before we get into the part here, I just want to mention that this is true. In version 1, she was annoyingly difficult to play. She stole a lot of HP. Getting the dragon off at times was like very annoying. The auto was stupid. It would either just get rid of your dragon immediately and then F it up, or not do that and then mess up your rotations. The autoplay was really bad. And then like the biggest thing was healing. Your healing options for the character were either Gallagher or maybe Little Child if he was like good, if you had like I think about 2 dupes in it, right? And Lycon. Lycon was definitely needed. Now that is slightly fixed. That's slightly fixed now, because if we check here, if I can quickly find it, it should be somewhere right here. Yep, right here. So before, it used to be has to be excess healing. That's why the only good characters were these two, because these characters healed you when you attacked enemies. Now it's just any form of healing, which is good, right? There is a lower cap, but honestly, again, since you're receiving healing, it's just any healing instead of over healing. Then yeah, it's good. The problem is we don't have that many good healers. There's only what 4 in the entire game that are actually like, no, 3 in the entire game that are runnable. 4 for Castorice. Hoyo is not good for Castorice because her healing is very limiting. It's only on 2 points, like at 2 points in time, and it's not good enough, I think. Link Shaw is solid, but she's much better on a lot of other teams. And then your other options are Gallagher, Little Shaw. So honestly, your options just increase by 1, and even then, you might not even use Link Shaw for this. You might just use Gallagher instead because you can use Link Shaw on some other team, like Break. It's actually true. So there's that. And while some people laugh at us referring to it as a test or skill issue, what happened in the end? These were the very first aspects that were changed. However, even though some improvements, I still found myself deeply dissatisfied with the changes. So the developers did not fully fix these issues. At best, they only addressed half of them. The difficulty was reduced, but her cycle still requires a significant amount of micromanagement. Autoplay was adjusted, but it still sucks. The pool of viable healers has expanded, but she still has 0 optimal match characters. Yeah, this is almost definitely in preparation for Hyacinth, who is supposed to be a remembrance healer. I believe that's what they said. I believe she's supposed to be a remembrance healer. And that's what we're waiting on. I don't like that, but what can you do, right? What was the cost of these high-power adjustments? A comprehensive DPS nerf across all. Until version 1, Castorice was a high-risk, high-reward character. Although she was difficult to play, her damage output made it worth the effort. Now she still demands the effort and problem solving, but the reward has completely disappeared. And let me make this perfectly clear, this is not just an issue at E0, every Eidolon has been affected. So yes, her damage has been significantly nerfed for fixes that are just not enough, right? I'm assuming the whole reason they're doing this is because they see the future. They have characters planned out already for like the next, like what, 3-4 versions, maybe even 5. So they know what's coming up next. And the version right after Castorice is Hyacinth, who is a remembrance healer, who is mostly going to be her best match, right? Which I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they go, here's a character that we have half-assed, and here's the character that fixes all the problems. Please something for both. Right? Like, it's fun if, like, for example, like, DHIL had one of his biggest issues was skill point problems, right? He would burn through skill points like crazy, right? So it was a lot of micromanagement. Then many versions later, when Sparkle came out, it was a buff to him because not only did it give him more skill points, it gave him more damage. That is just a buff to the character with a support. That's not the same as releasing a half-assed character one version and the next version right after releasing the fix. Like, that's not the same, right? It's like instead of releasing like a game and then I would say like DLC a year later that expands on that game, they instead gave you like Fallout 76 and then tried to sell you like the other half of Fallout 76 like a month later. It's kind of what that is. I used Fallout 76, that was the first thing that came to mind. But yeah. If you want to truly experience the impact of this nerf, try using Castorice in Pure Fiction. Yeah, one problem I've seen with Castorice is Pure Fiction does not look great for her. Right? Unless you have the team, the optimal team, no, you're kind of screwed. While characters like the Herda and Aglaia can effortlessly reach 40k as easy as ordering a pizza, odd analogy, but sure, Castorice is too hard even with upgrading Eidolons. how easy it is to reach 30k pure fiction. You should have no trouble imagining how dire Castorice's current position is, and this is not even autoplay. You can also feel nerf to Castorice in boss battles, except against Palooks, who Castorice was made to fight because, of course, money, they had to do that because the Palooks is going to be in the next MOC, the next MOC, 3.2's MOC, not ours. But yeah, she wasn't always a great 1v1 to begin with, but now completely unmasked. Can you believe that the Herda, which is 2 versions old, is so much better than the Castorice when facing the Flame Reaver? I'm not surprised. The Herda is still one of the better DPS in the game, and she's aging pretty well, right? And Naxa just helps her even more, so she's getting buffed. She's getting really now. There will come a point where she becomes really bad because the health pool will just be too high. But what can we do? What we liked about Castorice in previous evaluations was that even in situations where she couldn't be properly teamed, she was still able to be meaningfully compared to fully teamed tier 1 main DPS characters, despite her many drawbacks. But without that, what's left for Castorice, right? She was able to still do really well before in version 1 because she had such high levels of damage that honestly it was okay, right? Like her damage was really high, and it was like, even though her team composition was limiting as all heck, you could still you can make it, like, if you ran it, yeah, she was like better than most other DPSs, right? Like, or at the very least on par with them. Now she's kind of worse than some of them and still has some of those problems, just not nearly as pronounced. How about a slight increase in the number of available healers? Yeah, because again, literally your only 2 to 3 options are Gallagher, Locha, and Linkshot, but you're not going to be using Linkshot on the team because you're mostly going to be using it on some other team, right? Unless your other team uses Hoyo, then I guess, sure. But at that point, just use Gallagher, honestly. I think Gallagher's just better overall, right? Gallagher was made for, well, not made for her, but he is a really good option for Castorice. They work well together. At the very least, we can now consider using a few more support characters such as Locha or Linkshot. They say Locha, but I think it was always good in version 1, just not nearly as good as Gallagher, right? That's it. However, Linkshot has better team options and a much better fit elsewhere. Most players will still default to Gallagher as he delivers the best performance to Castorice. For now, Gallagher and E1 Tribute are like light insult to Castorice. In my opinion, Castorice needs to pursue a significant increase in DPS in version 4 or later. The current DPS level of Castorice does not satisfy anyone. For example, Castorice can only use an enhanced skill if the dead dragon is on the field, and it is nearly impossible to recover energy while the dead dragon remains on the field. Yeah, that's one problem. You don't get energy if the dragon's on the field, which kind of sucks, right? You can't get your ultimate when the dragon's up. Every other character, right? When you have ult, you still get ult. You'll still get ult charge even if you're using the ult. You'll get some charge out of it, right? And then you can charge for another one. Not Castorice. Nope, not Castorice. I get why they did it, because like, let's say for example you could get the energy, you could then summon the dragon, get rid of it, summon the dragon again, get rid of it, summon the dragon again, get rid of it, yada yada yada, right? I get why they think they're doing that, but honestly, we have to you can just lower how much energy she gets by like, I don't know, maybe like 50%. As long as she still gets energy, it's fine, right? So that way she can still get it, but no, that's not how that works. I don't really get that too much. Yeah, like that's one problem. Like, I believe it is, if I can find it, it's not here, it's somewhere down here. I believe it's one of the dragon's techniques, I believe. I'm trying to find it now because it's so hard to find all the stuff in here. Nope, that's what it used to be. This is that. Yeah, here we go. When Netherwing is on the field, which is the dragon, Newbutt cannot be gained, and HP lost by all allies except Netherwing will be converted to equal amount of HP for Netherwing. Just lower how much Newbutt is gained, and you're good. But no, you just are denied, and now you have to go through your way of getting it back again, right? And again, remember, your healing options are not that great, so it's a problem. And without Tribby, your damage is much, much worse. So keep that in mind. It should also be fixed that there is an issue with the buffing mechanism. Why does the buff apply before summoning a dragon, but not after it's been summoned? Oh yeah, there's a buff. I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah. Yeah, there's a buff, I believe, somewhere, I think. Yeah, before the dragon, but not after it's been summoned. I think wait. I think he's referring. I don't know if he's referring to any buff or the specific buff she has. I can't find it in here because it's everywhere. This is huge, and I really don't like reading this over and over again. Oh, also, how much healing the dragon gets when it disappears is less. I don't really get that, but okay. I don't know. And this is more of a wish versus ever give up on it. Remember the moon cocoon. Yeah, like I said before, no reason this should be here at all. If you really don't want to get rid of it, Just get rid of this first part here and we're fine, right? At the very least, make it team only, right? At the very least, okay? And if you really want to make it box wide, then don't make it work in endgame content, right? I still think you should make it box wide. I think you should make it team only. I like the idea of characters having extra talents, right? It can set the precedent for future characters getting buffed with those future talents, and that'd be a cool way of doing it. But when you make it box wide, no, that's not good. It's not. I can see what the developers are trying to do, but they have yet to find the right direction. Hoping we'll see further improvements in upcoming patches, as the time remaining is always limited, because as things stand now, she simply isn't compelling. If this version of her is released, there's no way it will lead to a successful launch. So the problem here is just her damage is much worse for no real good payoff, right? Her healing options are still limiting as all heck. Her micromanagement is still present, right? She still requires a lot of micromanagement than before, like less than before, but still there. And just don't ever hit the auto button. Never hit the auto button unless you are going for a guaranteed kill. Then yeah, hit the auto button, right? Like if you're going to if you're gonna get rid of the dragon completely at that point, yeah, hit the auto button. But outside that, don't ever hit the auto button. Yeah, I think this character needs damage boost. I think honestly, just give her back her multipliers. Give her back her multipliers. Maybe increase some of these like these multipliers. Bring it back. Bring these multipliers back. Increase this slightly back. Make her get energy while the dragon is up, but less than before, because there's no reason it shouldn't be like that. I really don't get it. I'm trying to find it. It is here. Yeah. Change this to like make her still get new button, but just at a much lower ratio. Right? Like that's all you need to do. There's no maybe like half the HP loss to allies half of it goes to Netherwing, half of it goes to new button. Or maybe if you want to lower it 3/4 to a 1/4. Just some way she can still get this, because there's no reason she shouldn't, okay? And then just give her more team options. Literally her only like 2 good teams off the top of my head is Gallagher with it's either you're gonna use it as a sub DPS with My Day, or you're gonna be using her with E1 Tribby. Right? There's no in between. You're either sub DPSing it with My Day or full DPSing it with E1 Tribby. If you're not doing this, the character's not great. Simple as that. So this kind of comes off to me anyway. It's not exact same, but this reminds me of when Acheron first released. When Acheron first released, her team options were limiting. But you know what the payoff was? She killed everything in the game. Like, there was no question about it. If you had her full buff, someone was dying. Someone and anyone was dying to her. Nothing was gonna survive, right? She required 2 Nihility characters, but as long as you got that, boom, she became one of the best characters in the game. And with her, she just needed any Nihility. So as long as a Nihility character released, she became de facto better. That's all it was. And if you got E2, boom, you won times affinity, right? You only need 1 Nihility character, which means you can use her with any healer at that point and support, and boom, you won the game. Simple as that. This is not like that. This is not exactly like that. This is let's release the Acheron was let's release her as a really strong character, but with restrictions. This is let's release a sub DPS with restrictions. That's not how this should work. Okay? Not at all. She should be stronger than basically any DPS if you're gonna give her this many restrictions to the character, right? So, like I said, my biggest fixes are give her back her multipliers. She needs those back. Let the dragon get some of it's somewhere here, I believe. Let me try to find it. It's here. Yeah. Let Nuba be gained even when the dragon's up, but just at a smaller rate, because there's really no reason it shouldn't be like that. And then traces. Honestly, we can pitch away crit damage or quantum damage for HP %. I think if you really don't want to give her multiplier back, give her more HP. There should be no reason, right? I don't get that. And I think her I don't remember her her I think is fine. I think this should be slightly higher, but honestly, this is like, I don't think they're gonna touch this. If she gets any nerfs in version 4, we are gonna have some problems because she doesn't need nerfing, she needs buffing. And Max is fine. I'm not gonna go into depth with him because there's no real problems with him outside of haha funny mango burr. That's it. But yeah, that's basically about it. This character is an enigma to me. I think they're using her as a test and horribly misunderstanding what people want from this character, right? People like this character, by the way. People really like this character. And they are fumbling this character immensely. I don't really get why they're doing it. It just kind of puts a bad name on Remembrance, right? Because it's not here. I had to pull up here. If we look at Remembrance, right? There's 3 characters in the Remembrance, right? Aglaia is like, I think, a solid tier 1. I don't think she's like amazingly great, but she's still solid, right? If you get her, you can make things work. The Trailblazers are really good support. The true damages will almost always be like a really good mechanic. Just being able to ignore defense is really good. Or I guess it ignores everything. It just does damage and just raw. Ignores defense, ignores buffs, all that. And Castorice just looks like kind of in the middle, right? Like, kind of not as great as Aglaia, but I mean, it's a DPS, so I guess slightly better than Trailblazer. This character is an enigma. I really don't get this character, and I am trying to figure out what they're doing with this one. That's it for this one. I just want to talk about version 2 Castorice and how she's in some deep shit. I'll put it like that. She's in some deep shit. I hope version 4 fixes a lot of the problems and version 5 just like makes it slightly better. We should know by tomorrow, maybe either later tonight or tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, I'm not certain. In the next 2 days, 2-3 days, we should know version 4. But according to them, there's not many real changes, and if that's the case, that's according to leaks, but if that's the case, yeah, no, this character's not great. We can only hope. I'm praying to God this gets removed, but at this point now, it's been two changes, 2 version changes, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. That's it for this one. I hope you have enjoyed this rant on Castorice. I do like this character. I so badly want to summon this character, but so much is this. Mainly, this is telling me don't summon this character, right? This alone is like striking me as honestly just quit the game. Just quit the game. We can't support this. We straight just can't support this kind of thing. This stupid mechanic right here should not be allowed to exist. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Okay? I've ranted for too long. I've ranted for about 22 minutes. Yeah, that's about right. That's it for this one. I hope Togashi gets changed version 4 for the better, and we'll hopefully get a better release than what she's now, because I'm not really happy with this. And please, God, remove this. There should be no reason that's there. Please, Hoyoverse, remove it.